Hey everybody, welcome back. And we are on episode 27.
Episode 27.
Ooh. Dude, so excited because we're 27 episodes in and we haven't quit. This is called commitment, consistency. I love it. So also, happy July.
Happy July. Today is July 1st.
Can you imagine? It's July 1st. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And I want you guys to think about this. 2024 is half over.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I just saw a post on that. I forgot who did it, but yeah, I was like, holy crap, halfway.
Half over, right?
So freaking fast.
And only 3 months away from Halloween. Yeah. We're getting closer. Our costume this year is going to be amazing. I can't wait. How many of you guys out there start planning your Halloween costumes a year in advance? Raise your hand.
Just you. Only you.
I'm a Lone Ranger? Yeah, but you reap the benefit. I literally plan for all of us. So, well, as in all of us, as in me and you. It used to be all of the kids, all of us, all five of us, but now it's just me and you.
Yeah.
Solo. 'Cause Donovan jumped ship. He's not on our team anymore. That's okay, because I recruited some new people.
All right.
So I recruited Mayo. I think Janelle's going to join us.
Cool.
And hopefully, Evelyn, you might be just hearing this for the first time, but hopefully you and Brian. And if not Brian, who cares? Just you. I'm gonna enlist. It's a group costume, and it's fucking amazing, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
What I have done since for the last 3 years now is I try to find. It's always like a couple's costume. And listen, we're not the type of people who like I have to be pretty. I have to look a certain way. I will be the ugliest person or the. I don't care. It's fun. Halloween is the best. What do you call it? Holiday on planet Earth. It just is.
Yeah, in other words, we take it pretty serious.
Serious. And I mentioned before, if you get invited to our Halloween party, like I'm not even joking, if you don't come dressed up, you're going to feel super out of place.
Super out of place.
But now our Halloween party has shifted over to Josh and Mayo's. So it's going to be so fun, and I can't wait. And our costume is going to be amazing. And we have to unseat Dace and Drew and Billy, Peely, because they have won
year.
the last 2 years in a row. We have a costume contest at the party, kind of like at the Pride party, the ending pièce de résistance, however you say it, like the drag race.
The contest
is
the
costume contest.
Yeah.
And they've won 2 years in a row. And I'll be damned. I will eat my hat if they win again this year.
They were really good, though.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Not on my watch. I didn't know we were taking it this serious. So the first year they won, it was like, yay.
Right.
And then last year I was like, what the hell? Like, oh, we're competing?
Stop.
I've been alerted. So now here we go.
Here we go.
So Mayo and I have been planning for over since last year. Like literally at the party last year, we were like, we got to unseat them this next year. So
the party's not even over, and they're talking about unseating the people that won, that just won. Like, come on, man, let's finish the party.
No,
let's live another year.
No,
and then we'll.
No, we're like we were all drunk. We're looking at each other, going, "Yeah, hey, you know what? Fuck them. Fuck them. We're going to win next year." And I thought, oh, he's going to forget. The next morning he texts me, "Hey, so were you serious yesterday?" So we've been talking about it.
When you say "hey," you're referring to Mayo still.
Yeah. Mayo.
Yeah.
And I also have to talk to Josh because he's saying Mayo can't compete because he's one of the hosts.
Well, I mean, there might be something like that in the rules.
What rules?
I'm just saying.
What rules?
No, well, I remember Josh mentioning them before. I remember at a different party.
What? That he can't compete?
Yeah, that because they host and they're part of the judging and.
But Mayo's not part of the judging.
I'm just saying. I remember.
And Josh is ruthless. He will not pick Mayo if he's not the best.
I think it'll be fine. I really do, because everyone wants to
fun.
Join in the fun. So I don't see why not. It's not. I don't.
Well, we'll
just because of what you just said.
The jury is out. We'll see if Josh is going to let Mayo compete with me, and if he doesn't, the group costume that I picked, it's not like, oh my gosh, we can't do our costume now.
No, I know.
But it's
I know.
it's a critical part of our group costume.
Yeah. It's a group costume.
So I got to talk to Josh and say, hey, man, if he's not a judge, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
True.
Because Josh is not into it like Mayo and I are.
No.
Like, we're like hardcore.
And Josh is a really good judge.
Yeah, exactly. He's so fair. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't care if you're my husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
You suck. I don't care if you're my cousin. You suck. Like, he's going to, he's not going to pick me just because.
No. That's why I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine.
Yeah. But halfway through the year, guys, can you believe that shit? That's crazy. So here's what I want to know. I want you guys to comment on this podcast, and I want you guys to tell me, what did you set out to do this year in January? And have you done it? And if there's multiple things, what have you accomplished so far? If you haven't done anything, this is your reminder. You got 6 months left. There's a lot of time left to get done what you're supposed to get done.
Now, can I just say what I personally set out to do since the beginning? I mean,
since January,
because you saying that just reminded me of New Year's Eve, or not New Year's Eve, but New Year's Day. Kind of like, what have I done this past year? What can I do this next year to do better, right? So, and then just you saying that reminds me of it, right? So, what have I done, right? So I look back. Number one is this freaking podcast.
Yes.
That's what I've done.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell, get into it.
I just, I have to put that out there. This one right here was huge for me personally. Right?
Listen, I usually don't like going, dude, we're so awesome. This, that, whatever. I mean, if I say it's in jest. I don't really mean it. But with my whole fucking chest, I'm so proud of us.
Yeah.
This was a big deal.
Yeah.
Really big deal. In fact, I was talking to my hairstylist yesterday. Shout out to Michelle for my golden locks. She did an amazing job. And we were talking about how people want to be influencers.
Yeah.
How everybody wants a podcast.
Yeah.
Until you do it.
Right. No shit.
It's really hard. And it's not hard as in like digging ditches hard, but it's tedious. Right?
Well, it's different hards.
Yeah, it's different hard,
It's
but
still hard.
to keep the commitment.
Yeah.
And she was telling me yesterday, I don't know how you guys do it every week. That's awesome. So
Sure.
by the end of this year, we will have 52 episodes in our belt. And I'm super proud of us for getting to 27. So sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm on one today.
I was like, I forgot what I was talking about.
Your accomplishments. This podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so the podcast, number one, and then number two is to maintaining my fitness.
Oh, okay.
I told myself I'm not going to get as extreme as I was the year before, that past year, but I'm going to maintain what I got because I like what I got. I like how I feel, blah, blah, blah. And I feel good about it.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I had a whole bunch. One of them was this. The first one was this podcast.
Sure.
And we started it January 4th.
Yeah.
So that's a huge accomplishment because we've been doing that. Number two was self-care. And that includes therapy and all the shit I like to do, which is my hair and my nails. Been slacking off on the eyebrows. Peep the eyebrows. They're out of control right now. They look so bad. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I've been doing what I said I was going to do in that regard. And then the third thing was not to overcommit because I knew what this year was going to look like for Drew and Dason and the book tour and all that.
Okay.
So I didn't want to overcommit. I love getting invited to places. I'm a social butterfly. I love if you invite me to a party, I want to be there so bad. And I overcommitted so much last year, and then I'd have to disappoint people.
Sure.
So my new thing is I don't commit to anything unless I 1,000% know that I'm going to be able to make it.
Sure.
So if there's even a little smidge of, hey, we're waiting on this one thing to come back, or I don't know, whatever. I always say, oh, you know what? I can't. I just automatically, it's a no.
Yeah.
And until I know for sure. And then it's cherry on top. Because I'd rather say no right now and someone go, oh, that's okay. No worries. Just, whatever. Than to say, oh my gosh, yes. And then the day before I say, hey, I can't come.
No.
And then now I'm a dick for not coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you pay for like a dinner or something like that. You know?
Right. Well, I know that's not so much an issue for me. It's when we do make commitments to go places.
Yeah.
It's I'm excited about going, and then coming up to the event of going, and then I have remorse.
Oh my gosh. That's everyone. And listen, don't take it personal. And I know we're not the only ones that do this.
Yeah.
especially me, when I get tipsy, or even if I'm not tipsy, I'm just feeling good. I've had a couple beers or whatever, a couple shots of tequila.
And it's not like I'm not serious when I say, yes, let's do it again.
Let's talk about toxic traits real quick.
No, I'm serious.
No,
I'm having such a great time.
I know.
Like, it's not like it's like a lie. And how do I get at it? No, it's like I really want to do it again. You know, this sounds so much fun. I'm having such a great time. And then coming up to
then you're all, why? Why did I commit to this?
What's the matter with me?
Let's talk about toxic traits. I have many. One of my toxic traits is when I just am having a good time and I'm drinking, I want to take everybody on vacation with me. I'm that girl. I'm the drunk who's happy. And I love family, and I want everybody to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I want us all, even if there's 400 people at this party, I want us all to go on vacation together. And then I start I don't know, what is that? You know this about me, right?
I do.
I plan vacations at parties when I'm drunk. And I don't...
We'll be at a party. We'll separate. I don't know how we separate. And then you'll come back hours later. I'm like, where the fuck's Noelle at? But I'm just chilling in the corner because I don't like to socialize. But I'll find someone who likes to chill in the corner with me. Hours later, Noelle comes back with a group of people. Who the fuck are these people? I just met these guys over there. They're so awesome. Hey, I told them about Hawaii, babe. How we go to Hawaii and how we really do it. They really want to go with us. I told them, let's go.
It's my I don't know what happens. And you know what? I guess it's the flip side of that. If we're playing the glad game, I'm glad I'm not a mean drunk. I'm glad I'm not an abusive drunk. I'm a happy, let's go fucking vacation drunk. Every fucking time. And here's one thing. I've never had anybody call me out on this except for one time, which was, I think it was the beginning of this year, or maybe it was last year. And our good friend Tanya, she goes, in her Australian accent, goes, oh, so you want to go somewhere? I forget where it was. Oh, you want to do this? You're drinking right now. Is this real or is this your, I'm a vacationing happy drunk? I was like, bitch, don't call me out on my toxic trait. And then she killed my buzz. But I think about that all the time. I'm like, man, when I invite you, I don't want you to think I'm just because I'm drinking. So the next time I invited her somewhere, I said, hey, let's go. I forget where. Or I think we were going over to their house.
Sure.
And then she goes, I said, hey, and by the way, I'm sober when I'm asking you to hang out. She's like, oh, she thought it was funny when she said it to me, but that lives rent free in my head all the time now. Like, damn.
But I still don't think it's a bad thing.
It's not.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Where the fuck did that come from? Why do I invite you to Cancun? Like,
it's just good vibes, man.
I don't know.
I think you're just feeling the good vibes. Like, I swear to God, it happens at every party we go to.
I know.
A social setting we go to where we split up, because we always split up, right? Because you know too many people. And
I got to take a lap, guys. I got to take a lap.
But when you come back, it's always with a group of at least 2 or 3 people. And you've been talking to them for hours, and you've been telling them all about Hawaii, and we're going to go hiking. I show them the pictures, babe. Show them.
In my defense, I've never invited anybody to Hawaii because that's our family thing.
No. I'm just saying it.
But I have. I've invited him camping in Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah. It's just good vibes.
I don't know where that came from.
It's not a bad thing, is what I'm saying. I'd say keep doing it.
I didn't even realize I did it until like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why I realized, why do I always invite people on vacation? Yeah. And I think it's the good vibes and it's like, hey, let's hang out kind of thing. Yeah. But going back to what you said, I think everyone does that. Okay. Everyone commits, especially, and this is not because the girls have like a lot of stuff going on just this year. This has been our whole lives being together. We've always been busy with work, family stuff, whatever. We've always been busy. And so if you book something with me like 3 months in advance, it better be on my fucking calendar or it doesn't exist, number one. Number two, when we get closer, I'm like, why did I commit to that 3 months ago?
No.
So I cut that out. I don't make plans that far in advance anymore because there's too many variables. But then the night before, the day of, I think everyone's like, no, why did I say that? And you know who's really guilty of that? Jason.
Yeah.
It's your anxiety for sure.
Yeah.
And that's your anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's like, why?
Because we do this, it's the same thought process, me and her. I think we're at the time we're having such a great time. Yeah, let's do it again. And then the thought of doing it again is like,
Or and she'll call me every time, and I say, "Get up and start getting ready. It's good for you.
Yeah.
It's great." And sometimes I'm like, you know what? No, you're not. You're not in a good headspace. Just stay home. It's fine. If they're real friends, they'll understand. You know.
Yeah.
But I think everyone does that, especially when you're at home and you have a lazy day, and you're like, "Fuck, that anniversary party's tonight. Why did I say I was gonna go?"
Yeah, you're like, why does it start at 4 in the evening again?
Yeah.
So I got to stay home all day.
Well, and then I have to start getting ready at for me anyway, at noon. What the hell? Because it takes me 2 hours to get ready. Then it's an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And then you get there and you're like, and then I'm like, who wants to go to Cancun?
I was just gonna say that.
Oh man.
We're all stressed out about getting there. We park, we get inside. 2 hours later, hey, I was just telling them about Cancun. How we
I'm
went.
so glad we went. This is so cool. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Oh, good times.
Good times.
All right, you guys, we're going to get right into it. You know what time it is. It is the first week of the month, and it is Am I the Asshole? Because you guys keep saying you fucking love these. So I'm excited to get started, and I think you're going to kick us off today.
Yeah, so we made it a little interesting this time.
The way we pulled the stories.
Yeah, the way we pulled the stories is none of the ones we suggested each other are the only ones that have read it.
Right.
I mean, we know the titles.
Yeah.
We've shared the titles, just not the story.
But we didn't read the stories.
Yeah.
Because when he reads the story, I want to have like a true reaction, like
same.
or whatever.
Same.
Cool.
Okay, so here we go. Story number 1. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend that I don't need his permission to wear a bikini? Okay.
No.
Red flag right from the jump, right? Okay, here's the story. I told my boyfriend that I might be going to Thailand with my parents and asked his opinion on certain swimsuits I should buy. He said that I cannot buy either of them because my breasts would fall out of them and that because I have an hourglass figure and I cannot wear it. He then said that he cannot give me permission, to which I replied that I don't need anybody's permission if my parents are fine with it.
That part.
He then told me not to disrespect him and that some things need to be approved by the partner. He also said that I can only wear bikinis and all when I'm with him, not when I'm with my friends or parents. Am I the asshole for telling him I don't need his permission?
No. Next story.
Next story.
What? He needs to approve what the fuck she's wearing?
Yeah.
Does it say how old she is?
No.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but I'm just curious. Like, because she said my parents approve, so I'm assuming she's younger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
she's going with her parents.
Right. Okay. 100 red flags.
Yeah. It's like, what?
Like, what would you say if we already know what Drew would say, but like if someone said that to Dason and then she told you, what would you say?
Well, she told me the story.
Uh-huh.
I would tell her that's not your significant other.
Yeah. Right.
That's not someone who tells you what to wear.
Right.
Or like, are you kidding me? Like, no.
Like this one's so obvious
Yeah.
like, to us.
To us.
But somebody watching this or listening to us on Spotify might say, well, I mean, you know, that's, you know, just putting yourself out there and your titties are going to be hanging out and whatever. No, that's called insecurity.
Yeah.
I would never, ever, ever tell somebody what they can and cannot wear. Me, personally. Like, I don't tell you what to wear.
No.
I have questions about your old ratty t-shirts that you wear. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good look for a 50th anniversary party. Maybe we just switch it up a little bit, but I don't tell you what to wear and what not to wear.
And the same goes for me.
No, I know.
I don't do that at all. I mean, I want you, I would want her to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Is that going to make you comfortable?
Right.
You like that? Are you happy with it?
Right? Exactly. So let me ask you this. If I'm wearing, okay, perfect example. We go to the gym a lot, right?
Yeah.
At least 5-6 days a week.
Yeah.
I wear shorts that are comfortable for me, right? And they're workout shorts. And listen, I got some junk in the trunk, right? So I have a booty, and my shorts are tight because they're spandex shorts. In fact, I have a pair on right now because we're gonna go work out after this. But when he's looking at me from behind, he's like, "Those shorts look so good on you."
Yeah.
Right. And if you see other people looking at me, whether it's male, female, or however they present, what do you think? Because you've caught people looking at me before.
I have. It doesn't bother me.
Right?
Yeah.
So the reason why I ask him that is because He's super comfortable in his own skin. He's confident, and he's also, you trust me, yes?
Yeah.
So if you trust me, who gives a fuck whatever when anybody else is looking at? And by the way, I don't dress for other people.
No.
I dress for me.
Yeah.
And if I am comfortable in them and I think they look good and I feel good in them,
Yeah.
I'm gonna rock whatever it is I'm gonna wear.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring this up, you guys, is because Tate is super comfortable and we are comfortable with each other. We trust each other. And the end.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Like, bottom line, you don't need his permission.
Yeah.
Wear whatever you want.
Exactly.
Go have fun in Thailand.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
In fact, go there and go topless if you want. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You're probably underage. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But that's a huge red flag. And I'm like, at first, when I was listening to you reading it, I was getting pissed.
Sure.
And I'm like, who the fuck is he? But it's like, why even get mad? Like, listen here, little boy.
Yeah. See, and you can see also too. I don't mean to cut you off right there. I was just reading the way he describes her. Your what did he say? Your breasts are going to fall out. You have an hourglass figure, right? The way he describes her, I think, makes it sound like he's super insecure.
Oh, for 1,000%.
Super, like insecure, like in that I can't believe I'm with you, because the way he describes her, like your breasts are going to fall out. So there's size to them, right? Hourglass figure. So like. The majority of men love, you know what I mean?
That's a great point.
So the way he describes her, saying he's like,
she's out of my league.
Yeah, she's out of my league. No way you can't wear that, or she's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
Yeah,
because when you were saying that right now, all I was thinking, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking like he is trying to be controlling.
Yeah.
Right. Of course he's insecure.
Yeah.
But I was thinking he looks at girls like that.
Yeah.
So other guys are going to look at his girl like that.
That could be it too.
You know what I mean?
That could be also.
He knows how his mind thinks.
Yeah.
So he's going to project that onto her.
That could also be it.
But I like your point too. Yeah. He's probably like insecure because he's like, I don't know why she's with me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Damn, that's a good point. Well, here's the moral of the story is shut the fuck up. I'm going to wear what I want.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
Exactly.
And by the way, if you're female or female presenting, the minute, and Drew says this all the time, the minute you get rid of trying to vie for the male gaze, is when you're in love with yourself, you're in love with your body. None of that shit's gonna matter, and you're gonna be able to say fuck all the way off.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even. This is how I know she's young. She wouldn't even be putting this out there on Reddit and saying, hey, what do you guys think? Am I the asshole for telling him I don't need his permission?
Yeah.
That's her like feeling insecure, like, oh my gosh, am I doing the wrong thing?
No,
you're not, sweetheart. So if this was your story and you're listening to this, you are spot on.
Yeah, and if that is your thinking, I don't need to ask. That's the right thinking.
And you heard it here from your favorite internet dad.
Yeah.
Because what if our son did that?
No, fuck you.
Would you tell him something?
Yeah. Dude,
what would you tell Donovan if he said, hey, don't wear that bikini to his girlfriend?
You can't tell her what to do.
Nice.
You can't tell that girl what to wear. Like that's not the way to do it, bud. You know what I mean? And right here, plain and simple, not the asshole.
Yeah.
You don't need his permission.
And one more little tip here. Not even a tip, a little observation. If my son said this, first of all, he would never, because we're not raising him to be like this.
Yeah.
We're raising him to be confident and just love on people, especially women, and just, respect them or whatever. I'm curious as to why he has this frame of mind with the parents that he's grown up with.
Oh.
The way he was raised.
Yeah.
Right? Kids don't just learn this by happenstance, right?
No.
So anyway, raise your kids right. Teach them to be lovable, or love people, be kind, be respectful, and you won't get shit like this. Right? All right, awesome. All right, you ready for the second one?
Yes.
And weigh in on these guys.
Yeah.
Weigh in and let us know what you guys
time.
think. All right, here's this one. Am I the asshole for punching a girl who groped me? Okay. I'm a male. I'm 19. I have been friends with a group of people from high school for a while, and we often get together for parties. A few weeks ago, we had a party at one of our friends' house. It was a typical gathering, music, drinks, and a lot of laughter. One of the attendees was a mutual friend of the host. Let's call her Sarah, female 18. I didn't know her well, but she seemed nice enough. As the night went on, people got more relaxed and some got pretty drunk. I was sitting on the couch chatting with a few people when Sarah came over. She was clearly tipsy and started flirting with me. I tried to brush it off and change the subject, but she wasn't having it. Out of nowhere, she reached over and grabbed my balls. It was painful, incredibly invasive. Without thinking, I reacted instinctively and punched her in the face to get her to let go. She stumbled back and fell, and it was clear her nose was broken. Everyone around us froze, and then chaos erupted. Some people were shouting at me. Others were trying to help Sarah. Sarah started crying and said she was going to call the cops. She did. And when they arrived, she told them I assaulted her. I explained to the officers what happened, that she had grabbed me inappropriately and I reacted out of pain and shock. I also told them I wanted to press charges for sexual assault. The situation escalated quickly. Sarah was taken to the hospital and I was taken to the police station for questioning. Now, everyone in our friend group is divided. Some think I overreacted and should have just pushed her away, while others think I was justified in defending myself. The police are still investigating and it's a mess. I'm facing potential assault charges and Sarah could be facing sexual assault charges. I've been feeling incredibly stressed and guilty, wondering if I handled things the right way or if I could have done something differently. So am I the asshole for punching Sarah after she grabbed my balls? Listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at this one with a different lens. Okay.
When you say different, what does that mean?
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Okay. But let me preface this by saying you should never, ever hit anyone, period. I don't care if they're a woman or if they're a man. You just don't punch anybody.
Sure.
However, let me play devil's advocate.
Sure.
Had the roles been reversed,
jail,
and that guy grabbed her,
going to jail.
he's going to jail.
Yeah.
Right? So I think far too often, men don't report assaults like this because it's not the manly thing to do. And I'm sure you're so much bigger than her and this, that, whatever.
Yeah.
How could she have assaulted you? Not to say that, it doesn't happen all the time or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, more often than not, it's usually the man, attacking the woman. But in this instance, if someone saw it and literally, because if it's divided, someone had to have seen it. Sure. Right? I just think the knee-jerk reaction was a bit much, punching her in the face and breaking her nose.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Right.
If a guy came in and grabbed my, you better believe his nose would be broken.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you heard earlier, she was flirting with him.
Yes.
And he was trying to change the subject.
Right.
But she wasn't having it, which
Right.
means she was being persistent.
Right.
Which roles reverse, I'm sure it's happened plenty of times as well. Man on female, right? So the reaction, I believe, whether it's a man punching a woman or a woman punching a man, I think is valid because it's unwanted from the jump.
Oh, you're saying she got what she deserved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying break her nose.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the roles are reversed, it's valid, the reaction, because it's unprovoked. It's not wanted. He's uncomfortable. He's trying to change it at first, which I'm sure plenty of women try to do to men as well. Right. But if he keeps persisting and then he just, right, either a woman or man, right, punch him in the face. Like, if they punch, what am I going to say to that? Like, if I was the cop to come to that and listen to that, either or, we're taking him in. It's an assault charge.
Well, that's what happened, right? Yeah. I do think, though, that, I don't know, maybe it's just like stereotyping, but like...
Could he have just said, hey, man? Or
could have he kicked her in the chest?
Could have he just said, hey, jump back?
If she, and like, because I guess she climbed, it looks like she climbed on top of him, or just leaned in. Well, it looks like he leaned in, or she leaned in.
Well, she was close, and then she just grabbed. You know what I'm saying? So whether they were standing or sitting, man or woman, it doesn't matter. It was still an assault because it was unwanted, right?
Listen, she assaulted him. If this is true, she assaulted him for sure.
Yeah. So the reaction, I mean, should you just like that or like jump back or, I mean, to go in there and squeeze and it hurt?
Yeah. I mean,
either or, right? Go in there.
I think it's easiest for us to sit back and go, dude, like, you could have just pushed her down or whatever, but like...
But it's not.
No, dude, the balls are very sensitive. And like, if she squeezed him and hurt him, the knee-jerk reaction was to hit. Yeah. I mean, just to protect yourself. Yeah. I mean, I get it, I guess,
Because that was my first thought, too, after reading it, because this is mine, right? Was, man, could he maybe he didn't have to punch her? But it's like, I'm not the same person. Everyone's different. You know, it's still an assault. It's still evasive to someone who's not wanting it. So their reaction is going to be their reaction, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's easy for us to sit back and say, you could have done something. But like in that, it's just the same thing as like when people say, hey, why didn't you just leave your abusive husband?
Yeah.
Hey, you don't know what's going on. No. You know what I mean? It's
you don't live in that.
Yeah. And it's just easy for us to sit back and judge.
Yeah.
However, the moral of the story is, this is why I like this story.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is, don't touch people unless it's consensual. And again, like, what are we teaching? You know what I mean? What are we teaching our kids? Like, my son is the most lovey person on planet Earth.
Sure.
Right? He's very affectionate. He loves to hug. And that's what we do. We hug, we kiss our kids, you know?
We tell them we love them.
We tell them we love them. We cuddle, like, since they were born, right? But when he got older, like, he started going in like the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. I'm like, hey, buddy, pull him to the side. Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because he doesn't know. I mean, he knows. He was old enough to know, like, hey, but, you know, he's just like, hey, guys. He's just like one of those affectionate people. But you can't do that.
No.
Not at school. No. Not with girls. And he's very close to his sister. So he just thinks, oh, it was, you know, like it was the same when he was in, actually, he wasn't even that older. He was like 1st, 2nd grade. And I was like, hey, buddy, I had to pull him aside and say, you can't hug people, especially girls. You cannot touch them. Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
And he was, oh, okay. But it was hard for him. And then I had to keep reminding him a couple of times because he's affectionate. Why do I tell you that? Because you have to have these discussions with your kids when they're younger. I don't, male, female, or however they, you know, whatever however they identify and whatever they feel like their gender is. It doesn't matter. It's keep your fucking hands to yourself. Yeah. And everything has to be consensual.
Yeah, respect. Have respect for other people and their boundaries
and their space.
And their space. And I'm a big person with personal space, man. Like, geez, some people just have no clue, and that shit drives me nuts, especially in public.
Yeah. Well, see, and I kind of feel for those kind of people, and like, well, it depends on what we're talking about here, but like, I'll give you an example. So I'm a very affectionate person too, because I grew up with no affection. So like, I went a hard left and just hug, kiss, hey, high five, whatever. Yeah. We went, and we met Rainn Wilson. If you don't know who that is, that's Dwight Schrute from The Office, right? And we met him, and he was on Drew's podcast, and the next day she was on his podcast, right? When he came to her studio, he was like blown away because it's like a whole production, dude. It's not like in a little room or whatever. It's a whole production with a team and 3, 4 cameras everywhere, whatever. So he was like, oh, wow, this is impressive. So he comes and she introduces him to us, right? And I automatically hesitate half a second because I want to see what that other person's doing. Sure. Because my instinct is to always hug people. I'm Polynesian, man. We love to hug people. And so I always wait half a second, and then he just, you know, puts his hand out. Cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fast forward to the next day, I forget because we had such a good time with him at Drew's studio. Yeah. We go upstairs into his studio, and he comes and he's like, hey, and he was so like different. He was so in his element and so cool. He wanted to hang out and literally sit down next to me and like talk shop with me. Yeah. But before that happened, his vibe was so like elevated. He's like, hey, mom's here. What's up, Noelle? I'm like, hey. And I just went in for a hug, and he like hesitated. And I didn't realize until I was already in motion. So I was like, all right, I committed. Sure. I gotta commit. So I hugged him, and then he hugged me back, and then I was like, man, do I apologize? I don't know. Yeah. But I just left it. I didn't want to make it weird because I already felt weird. So I was like, oh no, because yesterday he put his hand out. Sure. But I forgot.
Well, then we just keep moving on.
Yeah, I just kept moving on, and then he came, sat next to me, and then he like hit my knee, and he's like, hey, so what else is going on? What are we doing these days? And we were shooting shit, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, he's not being weird about it. But I was like, oh.
See, those are the social cues that need to be taught when they're young.
Exactly. Right. So my whole point of this story is teach your kids how to read the room, have social cues, and shit like that. Because when stuff like this happens, it's kind of hard.
Because when you're like, let me just be honest, right? When you're in these age groups, right? What is this? The male is 19. So anywhere, and
that's like how old Donovan is. So I'm like, it immediately made me think of him.
So 19, you're into the party stage, you're into the social stage, you go out a lot. So a lot of times, I'm sure every single one of you listening to us and watching this know what this is about. Sure. You know the vibe. Yeah. right? The interaction between women and men, women and women, men and men. I mean, you understand that vibe, right? So you have to understand the social cues of those vibes. Like, holy shit, this guy's not into me. I'm not fucking with him no more.
I don't mean to cut you off, honey, but like and this is not an excuse, but when you're inebriated,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't know the social cues
True.
because you're just like in your
True.
own head. You know what I mean?
True.
It's not an
True.
excuse.
No.
And if you can't handle your liquor,
Yeah.
fucking lock it up.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this is familiar.
Sure.
In the interaction, right? So
And what if this was this guy's first party?
it could have been?
And that's his first experience, and now he's traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
But I'm just saying you've been in these scenarios in the interaction with alcohol, blah blah blah, right? Like, but you still have to have that mindset of, or at least, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The upbringing of
if your upbringing is
like,
on point, because she came in a couple times, so
Sure.
her advances were not just one and done.
No.
Yeah, so that
she was also. He just mentioned she was also new to the party.
yeah,
She was the host's friend.
Yeah.
So they knew her, but not
really.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it too.
yeah. That's yeesh. All right.
So no, I personally don't think
You don't think
you're
he's
an
an
asshole.
asshole?
I don't think he's an asshole.
I don't think so either. And this is just strictly based on what we're reading.
Yeah.
We don't know any nuances or anything like that. But just if the roles were reversed,
Right.
we wouldn't even be. This wouldn't even be a story we're reading.
No.
Right. But because they're, it's just unwanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
So I don't think so either. And I think if they both just, hey, I did wrong, so did I, squash it, nobody gets in trouble.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go.
Sure.
And she needs to apologize
Yeah.
to him. So
And not say, hey, you just punched me in the face for nothing.
yeah, that's what it sounds like. Like, oh my God, why did you punch me?
Yeah.
You're like, girl, you grabbed my balls and it hurt. All right, here's the next one. You got it, yeah?
Yeah. So this one is, am I the asshole for uncovering my wife sabotaging my weight loss by using surveillance?
Oof. Okay.
Okay. So I, 38 male, have been married to my wife, 34 female, for 12 years. I work as an engineer. My wife doesn't work and volunteers at a local women's shed. We have always been child-free, but we have 2 cats, so you can say we are fur parents. Over the years, our lifestyle hasn't been the most creative. We both used to be a bit more active, but as time went on, we both became really sedentary and started eating with a bit less discipline and consideration. At my heaviest, I was, 243 pounds. My wife is around 215 pounds. I think the turning point for me was needing to dig out of my old suit jackets for an event and realizing I had no chance of fitting in it. Since then, I have worked hard to lose that weight and become healthier. I also encouraged my wife to join me and asked her because while she was still my wife and I would love her no matter what, I would like to spend more years together with her, which we could if we could become healthier and reduce the chances of dying young to something like heart disease.
Okay, that's fair.
Right? She looked very apprehensive at the thought of me losing weight and her joining, and she only came with me for a walk once before she said she wasn't into it. The past week, however, I've noticed that something is up with my running shoes. The laces snapped 5 days ago when I tightened them, and it looked less like a fraying or friction thing and more like a clean wedge cut out of them. The day after that, they were removed, not anywhere else, but sort of hidden under my work boots and other shoes, so they are hard to notice. And after that, they were in plain sight, but with cut marks on the rubber foam outsole. The day before yesterday, I decided to throw them out and buy new ones because they were getting old anyway. I did have a sneaking suspicion that my wife, unfortunately, was behind this. The past week, she has been talking with the phone on speaker when we are both watching TV to some girls. Oh, Jesus. Some girls from her women's shed about how awful men who ditch their wives are talking about how superficial men who leave their wives for thinner, younger women are scum. My wife has also been trying to subtly discourage me out for a run and out to the gym by telling me to do some chores right when I'm laced up and ready. If I don't, then I get told off for not pulling my weight around the house. Okay, so shoes.
Oh, is that it?
No. I was just going over a few things here. The shoes are there's something it seems like someone's tampering with his shoes. Now, it's she's asking him to do chores right when he's ready to do his physical exercise. So a couple of signs that he's seen. This is a story, right? So he says, when I get my new shoes, I spend a lot of money. It's stuck an Airtag under the insole of one of
He's
them.
gonna put an Airtag on his fucking shoes. Okay.
I knew that if my wife was behind this, she wouldn't damage the new shoes because they were expensive, but would likely try something else. Yesterday, I was planning on going out for one when I noticed the shoes weren't where I left them. I asked my wife if she had moved them, and she said no and told me that I was the one who had misplaced them.
Oh, she's gaslighting him now? Okay.
I opened up my phone and tracked my shoes to a cabinet that we never use and is well out of the way and nowhere near where I could normally place the shoes. She noticed me beeline straight for the cabinet and asked what I was doing there just as I pulled the buzzing AirTag from the shoe. When I asked her why she had my shoes, she just huffed and left. Meaning she's guilty, right?
Well, yeah. What do you say to that?
You can't.
And was it just one shoe?
He just pulled the AirTag out of one of them.
No, I mean, did she just hide one shoe though?
It didn't say.
Oh, okay.
When I came back from my run, one of her close friends from her women's shed was on the couch, and they both tried to accuse me of using surveillance to track my wife and controlling her.
Now she's gaslighting and enrolling alliances?
Yeah.
Shit.
When I tried to explain my side, they told me that it was really controlling. What I did and that it showed that I didn't trust her.
I wonder why. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. It's a long one, but that's it.
Okay. So basically this guy, he's worried because he's not fitting into his clothes. He's not feeling good.
Yeah.
She's kind of down the same path.
Yeah.
They're like gaining weight together. And then he's like, hey, I want us to live a long, happy life.
Yeah.
Let's, start doing things. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, cool. I like how he didn't pressure her.
No.
He's like, okay, I'll just do it on my own. It's fine. And then she starts fucking with this shit. This is like psychotic stuff, like serial, not so good wife kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I see him doing stuff and it's changing him.
Yeah.
And I want to do it, so he shouldn't be doing it either. Or
are you talking? Oh yeah, as if you were talking about them as the wife.
Yeah, I'm just talking about it as the wife.
Well, what this tells me, and here, listen, I've been in this situation, not fucking up your shit, but I have felt a certain type of way about myself when you started getting back into shape. Not recently, but like 10, 15 years ago when you like went all paleo and
I remember.
whatever. Yeah. And because I was working 80, 90 hours a week, and that's sometimes an understatement. And then you just, you have a job that allows you to work out at work.
Yeah.
And then eat a certain way or whatever. That made me feel bad about myself, but it had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with me. And the fact that I didn't have the discipline or even the energy.
Sure.
I wasn't kind to myself because I'm like, I don't have the energy to work out.
Sure.
Until I started figuring out how I could fit workouts in, which was like 4 a.m. before I left at 5:30 every morning. So I understand to some degree what she's feeling, and it's all about herself. So then that makes you feel depressed. That makes you, sounds like she's being lazy.
Yeah.
Or just maybe even, that's kind of harsh too, to even say she was lazy. Maybe just up here mentally, she's not ready yet. And that makes her feel some type of way, because I've been in that situation too.
Yeah.
I've been an athlete my whole life. And then after I started having kids, it was so hard to even get the motivation to even go on a fucking walk.
Sure.
So I get on the one hand how that could be. But to take it to that next level where you're sabotaging so he can't, that's number one, that's crazy town.
Right.
But number two is like, that's just a recipe for divorce.
Yeah.
He wants to feel good.
Yeah.
And because you don't feel good about yourself, you're projecting that shit onto him. And then sabotaging and then gaslighting and then enrolling people to help you. That's not good.
Yeah. So what's happening, at least in my opinion, is the wife is in this negative state, and she's a part of a group of people with negative states, right? And they're all feeding off each other.
Because you are who you hang out with.
Yeah. So they're feeding with these negative thoughts, but yet her husband is trying to be positive, trying to work on losing weight, trying to feel better, enrolls her into it. She goes one time with him and says, hey, it's not for me. So he says, hey, that's fine.
Right.
And so he's thinking as long as if I keep doing it, maybe she'll jump along.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe he's just like, hey, she's not ready yet. But I cannot do this anymore. I have to feel better. You know what I mean?
Because in other words, he's sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And she's not ready yet.
Yeah.
She's not sick and tired of it yet. Right. But so what happens is negativity builds, and then she surrounds herself with negativity.
I think she is sick and tired of it, but her mental state won't allow her to move forward.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt enough.
Sure.
Right? Like we always say. It doesn't hurt. Once it hurts enough, then you'll start.
Yeah, like for him, not fitting into his clothes, that hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not ready yet. Right? And so as she stays in that negativity, it just becomes worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
By this is sabotage.
It's totally sabotage.
Yeah.
But then you have to think, how does he know? I feel like she has a pattern of doing stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
Because how does he notice? I would never in a million years, if that happened to me, I would never think, oh my God, is Tate cutting the laces on my shoes? I would never think that. So I feel like she's had other things. She's done other things to have him think that.
Of course.
Then he's like, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to get a new pair.
Yeah.
But she's so money motivated, she's not going to ruin these pair because they're really expensive. And then he's like, let me pop an Airtag in here. Yeah. In what world?
I know.
So already there's also trust issues here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Especially the Airtag thing. That's a huge red flag.
That's crazy town, dude.
Yeah.
And that just tells me there's no trust between the two of them.
Yeah.
And there's no mutual respect.
Right.
And the fact that she's enlisting others to help gaslight him.
I know.
Here's what I think. I think and this is just me speculating. I think the friends don't know
the whole story
and how she is. So she's like, oh my God, can you believe this? And they're like, fuck that guy. What are you talking about? Because girls will ride hard for their girls, you know? But she's not telling him the whole story.
No, which is why when he comes back from his run and she has her foot soldier with her. Yeah. Right? They're like
we ride at dawn.
They're like, why are you trying to control her?
Yeah. Control her how? I'm controlling my shoes. I want to know where the fuck they are because I paid a lot of money and I want to go work out. What the hell? Yeah. That's crazy.
It is.
But she must have spun a web of lies to tell the friend because what the hell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. That's kind of crazy. You know what it reminds me of? Baby Reindeer. Have you guys watched Baby Reindeer yet?
That's scary.
That's scary shit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what you tell other people, and then they don't know any better. So her women, she worked. I don't know what a women's shed is. Is that like a women's shelter?
It sounded like because I was like, "What's a women's shed?" I went back to the beginning when we were just to read it. It's a volunteer local women's.
Like for what though?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up because I like to learn things. But anyway, I the only reason I bring that up is because it's like, man, you're in a women's group. Like, what are you doing? Why are you enlisting people to like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she has to have done other things. He would never think, let me buy an Airtag and pop it in. Because that shit's not cheap either. Those things are like $100.
But to have that thought process.
No, I know.
You know?
That's
where are my shoes?
Spooky. Baby reindeer. Oy. She's going to show up all these places. That's scary, dude. Come on. All right. Why do we have two stories attacking women? Anyway. Okay. So that's that. Weigh in on that if you think that's you think what we think, and that's crazy town.
That was a wild one.
Okay.
Let's go for the last one.
Okay, this is the last one. We're gonna do it really quick. Am I the asshole or struggling to do basic things? So I'm 19. I live with my mom. She originally inherited this house from my grandpa, but she didn't really buy the house. However, she does work a job to keep the lights on and some degree of food in the fridge. Lately, there's been a lot of fights between her and I where it's usually just her yelling at me because I'm far too depressed to keep a clean space or to apply for a full-time job or to graduate high school. I know a lot of people have strict parents and the things I do wouldn't fly with their parents especially, but I am genuinely conflicted if I'm wrong in this situation. I just need to be able to get into therapy and work on my things slowly, but she's screaming at me almost weekly at this point, and she keeps saying how done she is with me and that I'm more of an inconvenience than a help. My friends keep telling me it's time to get the fuck out, but I really can't. The housing market is absolutely crazy right now, and I would certainly end up homeless and unemployed. I know that I'm not ready. I've told her all of this already, but she doesn't seem to care. And she goes over how much of her money I waste, and she's starting to send me links to apartments or going into my room and throwing things out, and it's really starting to get out of hand. I still do try to keep things as clean as my mental health will allow me, but I really can't push too far at this point. Even the things I enjoy doing are hard for me to do. I work a part-time job and I help where I can financially. I pay for the pet food every other time I buy. I pay for all the streaming services we use, and I buy my siblings food when my mom doesn't cook for them. Also, sorry if this post seems biased. I really don't have her perspective on this, but I know, and to some degree, we are both T-A-H. I don't know what that means, but I do know if I should have, but I don't know if I should have more self-blame than I do. All right. This one breaks my heart. Mm-hmm. We were very strict parents to all three of our kids. Mm-hmm. However, knowing what I know now and going back, I would have not have done everything the way we did it. We already talked about this, right? Mm-hmm. But I do know that mental health is a big deal.
Sure.
And generationally, parents don't see that.
No.
So I'm wondering if that's part of the problem here.
It could be.
Because the mom, and he or she, it doesn't say the gender, but not gender. They're however they identify. It doesn't say. But this person does say that they don't know what their mom is actually thinking. They don't know her perspective.
Sure.
Right? So let's just operate under the fact that the mom just doesn't think or thinks that this person is being lazy. Mm-hmm. But I would encourage this person to communicate that with their mom.
Yeah.
Like, even the things I enjoy doing, it's really hard for me to do.
Sure.
Right? Or even basically taking a shower or just, whatever. Because I think far too often, and this is for all the parents or young parents or wannabe parents out there, mm-hmm. you really have to take into consideration everything, the whole picture, not just them laying on the couch and you see they haven't showered. They're just watching TV, spacing out, right? Yeah. That's a clear indicator of something's off. Sure. Right?
Yeah, I mean, 19. There's a lot. There's a lot to this. I mean, she or he or she, whoever how they identify, mentioned in here the mom inheriting the house from the grandpa. Why?
I think I knew you were going to say that, because I was thinking the same thing at the beginning, but when I read the whole thing right now, I think because the mom keeps saying how much money they're wasting. And so they are trying to well, what am I wasting? What am I wasting? You didn't buy this house. You don't pay. You know what I mean? I think they're going through all that stuff because they're feeling like a waste of space. Yeah. I'm lazy. I'm this, I'm that, or whatever. Yeah. But guess what? You're not. So unless it doesn't sound like this from, from just reading this. Yeah. And again, we don't know the nuances, but just based on this, my thing is, they're talking about therapy. I need to get into therapy. Yeah. Maybe they can't afford it. They only have a part-time job. Yeah. And it sounds like they are helping in ways that they can. I buy the pet food every other month or mm-hmm. whatever. Mm-hmm. And I pay for all the streaming services, mm-hmm. which they're probably watching. So the mom can't say anything about you're wasting my money on streaming services while I pay for it. So sure. What are you talking about? Yeah. And at 19, they're so young. Our son is 19.
I know. We
let him take a gap year from school. But we said, hey, you're either going to find a part-time job or you're going to do stuff around the house daily. And it's not just chores, it's enrichment time. Sure. You're going to read for an hour. You're going to play music for an hour. And you're going to go do some sort of exercise every day for a minimum an hour. Right. And then you're going to do your chores. Yeah. So doing that, but he's not in this state. No. And so when you're in this state, from what I know from going to therapy, you have to give yourself some compassion and just be kind to yourself. And the mom needs to know this. Sure. So if this was your story, mom, you need to figure out what's going on with your kid. Because parents just saying, oh, you're being lazy. You don't have a job. You don't have this. You don't have that. But why? Why? I mean, how were they before this? Uh-huh. Were they lively and had fun in school, in high school? And now they're like this? Maybe they're lost. Maybe they don't know what to do with their lives.
Yeah. He says also right here, he has siblings. They have siblings. Mm-hmm. And he buys the siblings food when his mom doesn't cook for them. Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, look, there's a lot of things going on here. Sure. And I think the two of them need to communicate. And the mom needs to be open about, mm-hmm. hey, my kid has something mentally going on.
Yeah. Because or open in as seeing it. Right? Because right now, I don't think the mom sees it.
Well, she's not seeing it.
Yeah.
So let's communicate so she can see is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because I know generationally, if the mom is around our age,
Yes.
our parents didn't believe in therapy.
Nope.
Our parents didn't believe in mental health issues.
Nope.
Our parents said, hey, I had to suck it the fuck up, so you are too.
Yeah.
Get off your ass and go do shit or get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's I
And the
agree,
way this
100%.
was written, it sounds like they're trying. It sounds like they're really trying. They're not making excuses. Even the last line was, am I not taking accountability enough?
Yeah.
Right? But there's a lot to be said for kids this age, and I call you kids lovingly, kids this age, or anyone under the age of fucking 25. You're still kids, and you have a lot of growing to do, and sometimes you're lost and you don't know what's going on.
Right.
The fact that they said they need therapy, something's going on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would highly encourage you to talk to your mom.
Sure. Yeah. I was just going to say that if I could give the 19-year-old some kind of advice, it would be, I'm pretty sure your mom's doing the best she can do for what she has.
Sure.
Right now,
I mean, there's no mention of a dad. So maybe she's a single mom and she's just on the grind and she's like, hey, I just need your help, whatever.
Yeah.
But the mom needs to take a pause and say, all right, you know what? What's going on?
Sure.
And that person needs to tell them this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And then after that, you'll know
Yeah.
how to navigate from that point on. Because if the mom's like, no, you're being fucking lazy, it's going to be hard. And guess what? It is too expensive for you to move out.
It is.
It's so expensive right now for all you young ones to move out. So guess what? Milk it as long as you can.
That means you have to come up with a compromise.
Yeah.
That means you have to, you know what I mean? That means you have to, there's got to be some kind of compromise here, you know, in dealing with both. In that way, both can figure out how to live happily together, right?
From what I've learned on podcasts and from reading is that like when and I've experienced this myself. I've had, I told you I had depression. I didn't even know it was depression. I had it right after I got pregnant with Donovan. And then right after I gave birth, I didn't know what that was. And it was like fueled by postpartum. But still, when I was in that state, I didn't want to clean. I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to take a shower. I didn't want to do shit. And that was really hard for me because I had never in my entire life been like that.
Sure.
I'm like first one in, last one out. I'm a grinder. I got to take care of my family. I got to keep moving, right? Just so in my head I can stay safe. I got to be a moving target.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're like, I'm far too depressed to keep a clean space. That's a huge indicator of depression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the mom needs to know this, you know?
Right.
And give them grace and work through it. What can we do? And so for those of you who are out there and maybe you're listening to this going, oh my God, that's me.
Sure.
Here's what I will say from my limited knowledge of just my own personal experience. If you do one thing, just take a shower or just brush your teeth and don't take a shower.
Yeah.
And you know what? That one thing that you do that day is a win.
Yeah.
And then try and stack.
Yeah.
Right. So tomorrow, maybe brush your teeth and comb your hair.
Yeah.
Still don't have to take a shower if you don't want to. Just, you see what I'm saying? Just stack these little wins as best you can that are simple and you'll start to feel so much better. But baby step that shit. If you're listening to this right now on Spotify or you're watching it on YouTube, I promise you, even the littlest, teeniest, tiniest things are going to help you build that, confidence to kind of climb out of the hole. Because it does. It literally feels like you're in fucking quicksand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're like, I didn't take a shower today. And then the next day you're like, I didn't take a shower, but now I feel like shit. Am I dirty? Blah, blah, blah. And then it just starts piling on top of you. And you feel like you're like drowning in quicksand.
Right. It mentions also in here, she's talking to her friends about it. And the friends are telling her, hey, it's time to get the fuck out.
It's time to get out. And maybe it's a toxic environment. And maybe you do need to get out. But where?
True.
Where are you going to go? Are those friends going to let you live with them? So it's you got to do these things for yourself. You got to do what's in your best interest.
Yeah.
And if moving out is not it, like you said, you got to find a compromise and try and figure out how you can live in harmony to the best of your ability.
Just them writing this too, I think is therapy.
And it's a call for help. Like, I don't have anywhere else to turn kind of thing. So anyway, if you're going through that right now, just know we love you and you can do it.
You can do it, man.
And maybe just even listening to this podcast, that's your win for today. Yeah. That's it.
Every day is going to be a struggle. Just pick one thing.
Yeah. And I want to go back to that story about the Airtag, about the woman who's, okay, she's maybe crazy town, I don't know. But when it comes to being in that, it feels like you're in a hole too, when you get to a weight that you have never been in your life. And then you're like, oh my God, trying from day one is going to be so much harder. It's going to be so hard. One thing at a time, same thing. It's the same fix, if you will. Not even a fix, that's the wrong word, but it's the same protocol.
Protocol, concept.
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
So if just walking to the end of your block and coming back, that's a win.
Yeah, you're
getting up from watching TV and just going maybe to another room and then going back, that's a win. Start super duper small. And I think I mentioned it in a podcast before.
Probably.
Where I said, I read that this one gal, she lost over 100 pounds, all natural. She didn't do anything else. And it took her like almost 2 years to lose 100 pounds. Right?
Sure.
But she said how she started was she had to get out of her environment. Because when you get into those deep, dark holes, it's like because you're in the same spot. She would get into her car, drive to the gym, which was like maybe 15, 20 minutes away, get in, get on the treadmill for 5 minutes, get back in her car and go home.
Yeah.
That's how she started.
Yeah.
Because she was over like 250 pounds, something like that.
Okay.
And imagine if you do that every day, how that starts adding up. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, before I was winded for those 5 minutes. Now I can go 6 minutes. Now I can. It's just stacking. Yeah. You know?
And it'll get to the point where I'm not just going to drive 20 to do 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive 20 to do 30.
And that's what she said. It turned into 5 to 6 to 7 to the point where like now she, does a whole bunch of stuff and she lost over 100 pounds, took her 2 years. And,
awesome.
And she had setbacks.
Yeah.
Right?
Like they all do.
Like everybody does.
Yeah.
And then, but she didn't give up. She started the day over again, So anyway, same thing, whether it's weight, whether it's your depression, whether it's your depression is caused by your weight, your depression is caused by whatever.
Yeah.
One little win a day that's all you can ask of yourself.
Yeah.
Until you can do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one day at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if you just watch this podcast, that's a win. Or listen to it, that's a win. And then tomorrow we'll do something different. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. All right, you guys. We got one more thing, and that's the quote of the day.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah. Okay. You're the one that found it. I had the other one, but this one's way better.
Okay, cool. Okay. This is for everybody, and it kind of dovetails what we just talked about right now. Yeah. This is just a reminder in case your mind is playing tricks on you today. You matter. You're important, you're loved, and your presence on this earth makes a difference whether you see it or not. Okay? And we see it, we don't even know you. And I know you're doing great. I know you're doing the best you can.
Yeah.
And we are here for you. We have your back. We ride at dawn if you need us. Okay?
We believe in you.
Absolutely. And I want to say this last part again. Your presence on this earth makes a difference whether you see it or not. Okay? So keep plugging along.
Keep plugging along.
We got you. And you have us here every week. And don't forget, we have a TikTok. Don't forget, we each have personal Instagrams and TikToks. And we post a bunch of different stuff on there. So make sure you guys tune in, share, like, comment on this so we can push our podcast out into the algorithm.
Don't forget to follow.
And we will, help more people. So we love you guys. Thank you for joining us for episode 27. Ooh. Yeah. And tell us what your Halloween costumes are going to be for this year. I cannot wait. I'm so fired up.
It's just July.
Hey, you gotta stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Right? All right. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.